Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Dela's Voice. I love this platform. You know why? Because I get to speak to inspirational people all the time. People who go out of their way to bring their passion into the lives of other people. These people impact the world in such a positive way. And I'm just so fortunate to be the voice. And so today I have an incredible episode for you. I'm going to be talking to my friend, Austin J. Haines. Austin is an international and award-winning best-selling author and speaker. He is the founder of Emergency Life Coach, and he is the talk show host of Flashpoint. At the moment, Austin is traveling across the USA, bringing his incredible journey to the rest of us. He's visiting beautiful places, and along his journey, he's sharing his inspiration with the rest of us. And he's connecting with us today from Sedona, Arizona. So please help me welcome Austin J. Haines. Hello, Austin.
Hi, Dela. How are you? It's such an honor to be here with you today.
I'm so happy to connect with you on your journey. That's a beautiful backdrop of the beautiful blue sky of Sedona.
Yes. Hopefully I get to show you a little bit more here as we chat and talk about great things, and things that matter for people who care, as I said.
Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, let's start by this. What in the world happened that made you go on this journey?
You know, it's an interesting question, Dela. Thank you for that question, because a lot of people have asked me that question. It's a crazy time. It's a middle of one of the craziest years. Will go on record as one of the craziest times in history. But what's interesting, Dela, is that my journey started in 2000. Well, it started 6 years ago, but in 2019 is when things really started to gel for me. It's when I resigned from my 19-year corporate job. I was at a company for 19 great years, had a great run. I was at the top of my game. I had lots of road to run, and I just decided that I'd been working so long on my purpose, and finally it was like a decision day. I just talked about this in my mini course where there's a decision day, and I finally made a decision, and I walked away from a 19-year job, lucrative job, and to set out on my journey back in 2019, and then spiral into 2020, and then the proverbial rug is pulled out from under everybody. But I stayed true to my plan. It just changed a little bit in terms of the logistics of it and the sequence, but it was the perfect time for me to do something like this, albeit it may not seem that way. And I think that's something that we can dive into into this conversation, because people have asked me, like, most people are concerned about their safety and their health, and they're saying, how could you be traveling all across the United States during such a crazy time, especially in the United States here, with the political landscape and the change and all the craziness that's happened. But I want to share with people that I've had the most glorious time. I've met the most incredible people. And we can get into that. I just met some amazing people, and I've had nothing but great experiences this entire trip. So I decided that I wanted to bring an experience to people, not just my words, not just sit in front of the camera. I wanted to bring experience to people because I felt like people were craving for experience, craving for authenticity, craving for a light at the end of this tunnel. And although there's selfish reasons for this, I've worked really hard during the course of this journey to bring people inspiration experiences through my theme, inspirational places, faces, and traces. That was the theme. And to be here with you on this platform, like you opened up with, it's just incredible that I can connect with you from Sedona. I've driven well over 3,500 miles at this point to get here. And now I'm talking to you to share this incredible experience with your audience. And let's see what can open up today for the audience, because it doesn't matter about my travels. It's great and everything people can see. But what really matters is the person listening. What's important to them?
You're so right, and this is incredible to me. That we are connecting like this along your journey, and you're able to share with us, with the rest of us, your experience of what you're seeing, what you're what you're feeling. And I think this is amazing. I mean, you
Thank
talk
you.
about blessings of technology. I think this is incredible that we are able to share in your experience like this. So I want to thank you for that, because so many people uh, are waiting for that right moment to do something like this. This is one of
Yep.
those bucket list things, right? That people wait till they're 65 or retired or whenever, if I can. So I think this is incredible. So I'm waiting to see what's going to come out of this show, because we never do anything for no reason. There's always a reason in behind it, and there's that one person who's going to watch this and is going to get the right inspiration to do something amazing with this show.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're working on something incredible along the way. And so I want to bring up this banner because that speaks volume. Flashpoint, your turnaround story. What does that mean to you, Austin?
During the course of my journey here, I realized that there's a defining moment for people where things change. The change could be inside them. It's that still small voice. It's that tug that you wake up with. You're feeling there's something more for you to do. And you might go years feeling that. And a lot of people go a long time before they ever take action on it. So Flashpoint is the awareness of that defining moment when things change. It could be a decision for people. I say people are typically at a pain point, a plateau point, maybe a stuck point. They're at some point. They may be under an unconscious point. They're walking around with this feeling that they've just grown to accept. Does that make sense? Almost like you're in an uncomfortable place, but it's not uncomfortable enough, so you kind of stay. But it never goes away. You never experience fulfillment. You never experience true fulfillment. So what Flashpoint is, it's the awareness that there is a defining moment in your future, and that you can create it. It can create your turnaround story, especially in the middle of uncertain times when things seem they could be at their worst. It could be the very best time for some of you to make a decision and start to create your turnaround story for your life, because this journey has just been a validation point for me that we need to live now. We need to make decisions today, especially if we're at a pain point, especially if we have that longing in the heart for something more. We need to, and I'm going to read a quote from Henry David Thoreau. Travel, road tripping, is one metaphor for our journey in life. And you're right. You said this is a lot of things. This is on people's bucket list. I've seen a lot of retirees that are doing this, and you wonder why. Like, what can we do to bring? And like one of the questions I wrote down: how can you bring your vision closer of what you want? How can we bring it more into the moment? And I just want to, as I turn it back over to you, I just want to say this: make sure that listeners know.
Austin, it seems we're having a little bit of a connection
There
problem.
is a flashpoint moment in your future. The awareness.
Sorry, Austin, we lost your voice.
That's okay.
So Austin will come back. Hi,
Can you hear
Austin.
me?
Yes, yes. Hi. Okay. So go back, please. Rewind.
I'm at an energy vortex here.
Go ahead and restart from where you started the quote.
The Henry David Thoreau quote.
Yes.
Okay, I'll share that quote with This is a quote by Henry David Thoreau. To set about living a true life is to go on a journey to a distant country, gradually to find ourselves surrounded by new scenes and people. And as long as the old are around me, I know that I am not in any true sense living a new or a better life.
Mm-hmm.
That was written in 1865 by Henry David Thoreau.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean? What does that mean for you today?
Well, this was written in 1865, right? So this was written during the Transcendentalist period, and there was a big call for people at that time to break away from society, and so, not and for me, it's not in a negative way. It could have been for some folks back then, but to be reconnected to the truest sense of nature and people. What's true? What's true? What's true for you, the listener? What's authentic? But I also want to share with you the other side of this quote is that you don't need to travel. You don't need to do a 30-day road trip. You don't need to travel cross country. What I did was, and this is really a metaphor for life. When I was home, I go to my hiking trail. I traveled to nature. I connected with people. I was doing all of that in my circle already. So I'm not waiting for some future destination. This was just an augmentation or an evolution of the things that I was already doing. And this, my drive to bring experience to people, not just words, not just some, and it's all valuable at some level, but I'm saying for me, my true call was to get myself in these places for myself so that I can grow and then bring that experience right into someone's living room. And I've had people tell me, I feel like I'm on the journey with you. I feel like I'm traveling with you. And that to me speaks volumes because that's what I want. And what happens is subconsciously, as people are enjoying these places, there's an opening happening inside of them, whether they know it or not. And then that journey starts to come from them. And then when you create the awareness that, my goodness, there is a flashpoint, there is a turnaround for me in the future, the sheer awareness of that starts to create it, whether people are fully aware of it or not in the moment.
I feel like to have that flashpoint moment, Austin, we need to quiet down. And
Yes.
so sometimes it takes a little bit more than your usual daily stuff to get you to that place of quiet so that you can hear. No, you can hear, right? And find out that that's your turnaround story. That's your flashpoint. So I think when you go on a trip like this is where you get that. Okay, let me now quiet down and listen. I think that would be amazing. Anyways,
Well,
but here's what I want to
perfect.
ask you is this. How are you taking people along with you on this journey? I mean, I know, but I want you to tell people so that they can
Yeah.
come up with you and go along this journey with you.
Let me share that with you. But I want to, first of all, as I was reflecting and I was preparing for this interview, one of the things that I wrote down, you just hit it, is that regardless of your situation, we know that most people live in survival mode or they live out of their reptilian brain, especially when the content is constant survival. What we want to do is we need to calm that part and start to open up the fullness of the mind and the heart. And there's a thing in the Tao Te Ching. It says find the non-ado. And a lot of us, we try to strive to get to a place where we're manipulating, we're shifting. But the purest state of accessing the mind and the heart is a state of non-ado. It's a state of being where you can calm the noise and the greater part of you starts to open up. And it doesn't, it's not like this force, and it's because I share with my clients and my circle that life is nothing but a balancing of we respect and become aware of all the energies of life. The storm has value. The earthquake, I mean, although they're tragic, they have an intrinsic value. And it's not that the more we block off life, we block off our own blossoming because we want to experience the fullness of life. So this idea that if you really want things to change for you, we need to open up to the fullness of life. We need to access the fullness of our mind and our hearts, and to step out of the reptilian brain and the fight or flight. And one of the greatest ways you can now see, I want to share this. Becoming conscious and aware can happen anywhere. However, putting yourself around the right people, like you, Dela, with this, I'm an honor to be on your show here and what you're doing. And number two, getting yourself to places that inspire you and open you up. It's very easy to come here to this place to be inspired. Even if you're not a nature lover, you will feel the energy here. It is absolutely inspirational. So these things help, but if you can't get there, then you need to start with what's in front of you in your own, because there's beauty all around you, no matter where you are, no matter where you're listening from. There's beauty all around you. There's an openness for you, and there's a flashpoint in your future.
Thank you. Now get people connected to you along your way so that they can see all the beautiful things you're seeing and hear what you have to offer. Because I know you're doing stuff along the way all the time to help people out, to bring awareness, to inspire them, to motivate them. So what is it you're doing?
So this theme of this trip was inspirational places, faces, and traces. And what I've done is I've actually created a mini course where I've gone to these inspirational places and I've recorded a different element of the course. And the course is all about overcoming. It's the 9 questions to overcome limiting beliefs, build your self-confidence up so you can start making moves in your life. And we had a small group go through that. Right now we're collecting feedback from it. I'm going to be relaunching it again. I have all the videos recorded, and we're going to be re-releasing that at some point in the future, because to me, that's the starting point, is that we all have some type of limitations. Even people listening to this are thinking, oh my God, I would love to go on a road trip. I can't do that now. That's their initial thought. Life situation. I'll just when we close out, as far as how to deal with that, how can we still move forward? But this course has been an incredible, and I've had people say to me, full transparency, I'll just share this with you. This is an interesting feedback I have. Somebody said to me, I could feel and see your energy shift as you went through the course. And see, what I want to share with you too, Dela, is that, I don't know if you know this or not, but it takes 8 days for people to fully feel like they were on a vacation. It takes 8 days.
That's why I never feel like I'm on vacation.
Right. People never truly disconnect.
Yes.
Because most of us are in a state of reaction. We're in a state of, I must, I have to, I gotta. I must, I have to, I gotta. I must, what you don't know is if you're constant, again, there's a place for everything, but if your talk all the time or most of the time is, I have to do this, I must do that, I gotta do that, you're a victim. Because you're basically saying, I have to. Well, you don't have to do anything.
Right? Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
You don't have to do anything. It's what you choose to do. Now, certainly you have obligations. You have children, you have a job. There's obligations, but even in those obligations, you don't have to do it. There's people that don't go to their job. There's people that don't take care of their children. So we must get ourselves back in a state of choice as opposed to I have to all the time. Because that's no good on the nervous system. That's like, you're just like, so 8 days, according to research, it takes 8 days for somebody to fully feel like they're on a vacation.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So now people can connect with you on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
To go along in this journey with you.
Yes. Facebook. I've been streaming on YouTube. I've interviewed people along the way. I met a train robber. I met a woman who has a beautiful retreat center in Granite Dells, Arizona. I met 2 young guys yesterday that we were doing a hike together from Missouri. Just the list goes on. I met 2 guys in the Grand Canyon who are every year they do they're in their 70s. One guy's 72, the other guy's 65. every year. They hike to the bottom of the Grand Canyon and back up in one day. It's 20 miles round trip, and it takes about 9 to 10 hours.
Wow.
And I interviewed them. And then the one gentleman was a hospice nurse, and the other guy was a former judge. I've met incredible people, just an incredible outpouring, just by putting myself in front of these people and in these places. And they all were not, one of it, the people that I've met, none of it was planned. None of it was planned. And the list goes on. I mean, I've had many miracles happen on this trip. It's incredible. So,
Austin, what have some of the enlightening moments been for you along this trip? Because I'm thinking you're spending a lot of time in your quiet space with yourself, with your thoughts. What have some amazing flashpoints for you been?
there's an ocean of things, but I think that it's important for people to know you're stronger than you know. You're more resourceful than you realize. You're stronger than you know, and you're more resourceful than you realize. And when you put yourself out here like this, like I'm doing, it pulls all your faculties. It opens you up. So there's a complete vulnerability. There's an openness, because I'm 3,500 miles from home in a strange place. So it's balancing these energies of embracing the uncertainty with a knowingness, either through yourself, your creator, the universe. There's a trust. There has to be a trust that I will figure it out. Like, this is my self-talk. I will find a way. I will figure it out. I trust myself. I trust my creator. And I know when I stay dialed in that the right things open up. If I get too far ahead or I start to get anxious, and I had it happen yesterday, Dela. I was up on this rock face, and we were hiking up this. It's called Cathedral Rock here. It's a very famous area, and it's a mountain. So I was hiking up there, and there was one area that was very difficult, and there was a line, and I went around the other side to go up, and I ended up on this rock face. So I started to feel anxiety because it was up high, and I didn't really have a whole lot to grab onto. So even in that moment, I had to bring myself back into the moment and say, okay, I got this. What's the next step? Because if I would have looked up, if I would have looked up at where I was going, if I would have looked down, I would have pulled myself out of where my next step was supposed to be, and I could have fallen. I could have had a fall. So I had to bring myself back into the moment, and then figure out where I was, and got off of there and got out of my comfort zone. And then there's the empowerment that comes after that, you see? So that's why Eleanor Roosevelt said, do something every day that scares you, because when you step out of your comfort zone, and then you may have to start in small ways, but when you do that, you start to become empowered, and you start to branch out, and you realize that you can do more, you're stronger than you know, and you're more resourceful than you realize.
Oh my God, what a great analogy for life. This is perfect, right? Because we look ahead so much of our time, and we get anxious because of the worries of the unknown, and we constantly look back and give ourselves so much struggle and frustration for the things that have already happened. And so we always come back to this, right? Come back to the present moment. Thank you so much. This is something that I think this analogy is a picture that is never going to be forgotten.
Thank you so much, Dela. It's an honor to be here with you today in this moment and share the energy of this place. And what I say to my people is I trust that the energy of this place, my energy, is conveying through the video as much as possible, so people get a feel of, and I will share more of this, but I want people to, I invite people to always take their next step. They could take a next step with me. They could take a next step with you, the work that you're doing, but take a next step. Don't, avoid putting yourself in front of people or content like this and then doing nothing. Like, take a step, take the smallest step, because it's in the small steps that have the greatest impact. We're just not aware of it, and I just want to encourage everyone listening. You do have a flashpoint moment in your future. There is a turnaround. even if you can't see it, even if you don't feel it right now, there's something deeper going on. The fact that you're listening to this video is no accident. That means that you are already dialed in some way. You already connected. So the uncertainty and the doubt that you feel, it's okay to feel that. Just take that next step. And as you continue to take that next step, you'll see some of that doubt and that fear will start to dissipate. So Flashpoint is one area. We have I have a mini course we're going to launch. And then we have a live event. I'm doing a live in-person event in my area in Cherry Hill. Yeah, because I want people. There's certain people that want to get around people. They don't want to be living on videos. And although it's great, I value this because it's great. But people want to get in front of people again. They want to hug people. I'm hugging people. Like we're hugging strangers. It's so crazy. I was in a store yesterday, got into this conversation with this guy. He runs it's called the Silver Cloud. You can look it up. Silver Cloud. It's in Sedona, and just got in a conversation with this guy, beautiful guy, and just connected, and just hugged him, stranger, and that's what people want. Like they want, raw connection. So we're having a live event where it's limited to 25 people, so we can't, because of we're still following parameters. But I just said this is going to be my first live event since I resigned back in 2019. So you better believe I'm going to bring it. I'm going to be running on all cylinders. I'm going to do everything I can in that space to do it. We're also going to stream it. We have a free stream and a VIP stream. I can share all that, link later. But the tickets, I think the live in-person tickets like $97, and we're going to do a follow-up. So we're actually going to have a follow-up after the event, because I find that most people go to an event, they leave, and there's not much follow-up after that to ensure results. So we're gonna create that follow-up as well, and then we're gonna have a stream too that people can buy a ticket. I have to get the price. It's in the link. I can share it.
Thank you. Share it, please.
Yeah.
Who's interested to do that? Okay, so what else is happening, Austin? You have all these amazing things that are happening.
Dela, I just invite people to follow people like you. Again, it's an honor to be on your show. You're touching so many people through this platform, Dela. And it's interesting. I spoke in Canada, in Toronto. You were in the front row, I remember.
Yes, I was.
You were in the front row. You had incredible energy, and here we are. It's just interesting how this the road will continue. The steps will appear even if you can't see them. And I'm watching what you're doing. I'm just so proud of you, and because you're so consistent, and you're just consistently bringing value to people, and you don't stop, you don't waver, and see, people who are heart-centered don't waver. They're connected. You're connected, and people who are not connected, they'll get the stage, they'll get the results, but then they disappear. So what you're doing is tremendous. Right now, my continuation is I'm going to finish this trip. And here's the great news. People that are watching this, you can just go to my page. There's a ton of stuff there. You don't even have to do anything. I thought there's always people behind the curtain that watch. And I'm like, I love that. Like, just eavesdrop, if you will. Just listen. Go, as long as it means something for you and has value to you, so be it. If you want to get more, there's passive and there's active, right? So passive people are eavesdropping. Get as much as you can. What I found is that when you start to become more active, when you get in like Dela's space, or you get involved in Flashpoint, you get in the mini course, the experiential mini course that I've created, you're going to accelerate times 100, because you're engaging, you're locking in. And so I invite people to definitely get more into that active space, but do whatever suits you at this moment. Find what your next step is and do that. And I'm going to continue on this journey. People can follow me. You got austins360.com. All my stuff is there. It's Austin J. Haines. Put the J in. You'll find me anywhere on social media. So Austin J. Haines. You type that in Google. A ton of stuff should come up. And you can just listen and follow along and do whatever suits you. Your turnaround story is there for you. So your job is to just, I'll share this quote with you, Dela.
Do it. I'm going to put this up here so people can look you up. There you go.
Here's the quote that I created during this thing. It's the revelation. You'll find it's in the unraveling that you'll find the revelation. It's in the unraveling that you'll find the revelation. And what that means is that you must allow things to unravel. We tend to jump in and manipulate, and we stop the unraveling because we're not sure, because of uncertainty. So when we feel uncertainty, and some of us feel it very quickly, we jump in and we manipulate and we block what the divine wants to pour into us. So we must have this openness where we allow an unraveling. And when we allow the unraveling, the revelation becomes clear.
And you also spoke about having trust. And I think trust is such an important aspect right here. If you're going to allow that to
Yeah.
happen, you need to have trust.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, Austin, what you're doing is great. You're such an inspiration to so many people, and you're helping out so many people along this journey. And I can't wait to hear from you again. Maybe connect one more time before your trip is over.
Yeah.
And hear
I'd love it.
miracles that have happened along the way.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying I've helped a lot of people, but you know what it is? I was my worst and best client. Like everything I do is based on my story. You know, about how it took me so long to figure this stuff out. You know, I would love to say I'm some prodigy. I took the long road, the hard road, the bumpy road, the bang your head against the wall road. You know, but here I am. And before we leave, Del, I do want to share with the audience.
I was going to ask if you could. That would be fantastic.
And this is what I do in my live videos. And I just ask people to just calm their minds and just take in the experience. Notice something in the backdrop, even if there's noises. Just accept the noises. You know, people are moving because it's busy here. Lots of cool energy here. But if you want to put the big screen on, I'll put the camera up here so people can see.
I can hear that. One moment. And I'll remove this so that there's more. Wow. That's beautiful. Look at the sun shining. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But you know,
absolutely beautiful.
You know, I live in Ontario, and Ontario is as flat as it gets. So that view to me is just amazing.
It'll move you. It'll move your heart and your mind and your spirit. And but you know, again, you can find areas near you. Research inspirational areas. Sunset, you know, sunrise in Ontario, sunset in Ontario. Research, it's there. People are experiencing beauty all around you, wherever you are. You just got to look for it.
Yes. Austin, some people are watching and they're sending their hugs and love and comments, and so I want to make sure that they know that they are being acknowledged. Thank you so much, everybody who's watching. We're going to let you go so that you can continue on this great adventure. Austin, keep doing what you're doing. You're a blessing to this world, my friend, and I'm so honored to have you in my life.
As are you. Much love to everyone watching. Thank you for taking this moment to be with us today. And your Flashpoint, your turnaround story is there waiting for you. Blessings.
Yes. And follow Austin on his trip, on this amazing adventure, and learn from him. Austin J. Haines. He's on Facebook. You can reach him. You can just Google him. You'll find him everywhere. So blessings, my friend. Have a great time. And for everyone who's been watching this show, you have a blessed day also. And as always, this has been Dela's Voice, hoping to spark your soul. Take care, Austin. Bye-bye.
God bless.
Bye,
God bless.
everybody.
God bless.